for you.
Yeah.
Knowing a second language, darn it.
How did y'all meet? Spilling the tea.
What did she say? What did she say? All the Germans watching are like, you're saying it wrong.
If things were to get serious, would you consider settling in the United States?
Let me buckle up.
Okay.
Drum roll.
Would Ben consider settling in Germany? Hallo, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Feli. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. But you guys already knew this. Today, I'm with Ben.
I'm Ben. Yes.
He's my boyfriend. You already know him from previous videos. And what we didn't do, so we did a boyfriend reveal where I just told you that I have a boyfriend, we live together.
That I exist.
That he exists. A little bit like background information on the cats and stuff like that. Then we did a video about the Bengals because I was happy to kind of bring him on the channel as like the sports expert. Because
It's still a sore subject.
For those of you who don't remember or don't know, the Cincinnati Bengals, the football team here, made it to the Super Bowl this year for the first time in 30 years or over 30 years. They ended up losing like last minute, which was super frustrating. But anyways, that was a video like before the Super Bowl. We talked about that and what that meant to fans like him and to the city of Cincinnati. And then we did a dating reaction video. If you haven't seen that, I'm gonna link all the videos down below where him and I reacted to a reaction video that I did about dating a German woman. So yeah, it was a little bit freaky. We are planning on doing a separate just talking video about intercultural relationships, or just like specifically ours, like the struggles that sometimes come with the different cultures. And now we're back to answer all of your guys' questions, because throughout those videos, there were so many questions in the comment sections, and we so far haven't taken the time to just sit down and answer those. So that's what we're gonna do. I have screenshotted a lot of questions. I think some of them are kind of overlapping. So if you asked a kind of similar question to the one that I'm picking, I just like ignored yours because it's basically the same. So please don't feel like personally offended. So I'm just gonna like randomly go through this and pick the first one.
Hit me.
Does Ben play a role making the Understanding Train Station podcast?
Oh yeah, I edit the whole thing. Well, I do the bulk edit, and then I send it off to Feli for...
And then I go over it again, put in all the German words that we sometimes put in. Sometimes we have a German-speaking section, and I put in like English subtitles for that for the YouTube version. So, yeah, but... Yeah.
It's also very hard editing something in German whenever you don't know German, so I have to send that off, admittedly.
But the main part of the podcast, for those of you who don't know about it, is in English. It's a podcast that I do with my friend Josh, who is an American here from Cincinnati, who speaks perfect German. He only learned it in high school. He's just very talented with languages, has no accent whatsoever. We even made a video with him about him speaking such perfect German. I'm gonna link that somewhere up here and down below. So yeah, we host that podcast together about living between cultures, and he actually, after we started the podcast, ended up moving to Munich. So now he lives in my hometown and I live in his hometown. So
switching places.
All right. How does he pronounce your name? Feli, Feli, or is he able to pull off that tricky German L sound? Y'all are cute. Well, first of all, thank you. How do you pronounce my name?
Feli.
So pretty close to the real thing.
Feli.
It's not perfect, but like I've never met an American who can do it perfect, except for Josh. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, whenever I'm feeling like I get home from work and I'm like in a really good mood, I have this really bad habit of like talking like a total hillbilly, and I'll come home and be like, "Hey there, Feli."
Feli.
So like that's about the only time that I like genuinely try to say it wrong. I tried my hardest to say it right, but
say it again.
Which one?
The right one.
Oh, Feli? Or no, that was wrong. Feli. Yeah.
He definitely tries.
Yeah.
So I would say it's like a mix of those.
Yeah.
Kind of, you're kind of in between there, like close, very close to the actual.
I say it right. Don't tell me that I'm saying it wrong, because if I can't say my girlfriend's name right, that makes me feel terrible.
So like for those of you who are wondering, you probably can't even hear the difference at all. So I pronounce it Feli, and he just pronounces it just a tiny bit more American, which is totally fine with me.
All the Germans watching are like, "You're saying it wrong." I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I know.
Happy for you both. When you both go to Germany, do you have to do a lot of translating when out and about, and especially with family and friends? So first of all, there were a few questions. Has he been to Germany yet? And the answer is yes. He's been to Germany twice, and We do want to make a video about his first impressions about Germany. So if you have any specific questions about that, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, we're just gonna like ramble on for a while, but maybe there's some guideline questions there that...
We can use this question as like a little teaser though.
Yeah.
So whenever people notice that I can't speak German, they start speaking English to me almost instantly. But the good thing about your family is that they all speak English, and they spoke a lot of English, but also I'm to the point now where I don't feel awkward being in a room full of German or any other language at this point. And I think that's a very, that's a privilege that I have as an American that a lot of Americans don't. They feel like a little out of place whenever they're in a room that is completely in another language.
Yeah.
But the translating aspect, you did have to translate a good amount whenever I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I pick up on some things, but...
Yeah, I mean, the first time you were in Germany, that was your first time out of the country too.
Yeah.
Like ever. Everyone like also tried a little bit harder in the beginning because they knew you had just gotten here. So like none of my German friends or families really spoke any German around him. Like as soon as he was there, everyone would speak English to kind of make him feel included. But then after like a few days, like a week, people kind of like slip back into German more because obviously for most people who don't speak English on a daily basis, even if their English is good in theory, it's still like a lot of work to constantly say everyday things in a different language. So then they slip back into it, but also because everyone could feel that you felt much more comfortable and you didn't feel so lost.
By the end of the week, your mom was speaking to, we were all around the dinner table. You all were all talking in German.
Yeah.
And then she stops, I hear in English go, "Oh, Ben, I should be speaking English." And I was like, no, don't. Like, I'm actually happy that you feel comfortable enough to speak your native tongue in your own home, which you shouldn't have to worry about that around me. Just after a week, I felt kind of welcomed by that in some sense.
But you also started picking up on words super quickly, and like now, even though, and we will say that your German is still pretty basic, like your German skills is still beginner level, you can pick up on like the intonation, you know where a word starts and where it ends, and you can pick up on a lot of words. So like we would sit there, especially the second time that you came to Germany, and like talking about something in German, and you would just automatically like respond to the conversation in English, and we're like, how do you even know what we're talking about? And you're like, I just picked up on it.
I don't even know. That's because I've never had a reason to really study a language. I had 2 years of language in school.
And French, right?
Yeah. And I've never really had practical language learning. It's always been in an American classroom setting where you don't hear the language a whole lot in a conversational
also, like,
setting.
Just a public high school, like maybe not the best.
It's not the best school for like arts or things like that. But this is the first time I've ever actually learned something through like a practical application like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how my brain's doing it. I've never learned something like that. So
well, you're definitely exposed to it a lot, because even when you're not in Germany, you do hear me speak German every now and then, obviously. Like when I talk to people on the phone, or when Josh is here, or...
I wish you would speak more German to me, in all honesty.
I could. Like, it's just like, we're gonna have to include that into our daily lives. Actually, video idea. I know a lot of other bilingual couples have done this before, so it's not an original idea, but would you want us to do like a vlog where I speak German to you for like 24 hours or something like that, and we vlog it? That's the whole thing. People do that.
Yeah, sure. But I think it'll be comedic relief for you guys, but I'll be bumbling around the house like, what did she say? What did she say?
That, I feel like that's almost harder on the person who has to speak the language. Like, I feel like that would be almost harder on me, because it's so natural for me to speak English with you, and then I would have to remind myself to not speak English and to only speak German, and then it's going to be frustrating because you're not going to understand me.
Serious question though, whenever you're in the US, does your brain just automatically switch back to English? Like,
I mean, you know, like people always ask me that, right? And like I always say that I can't really tell you that, because I don't know in which language I think or dream, because I feel like I don't think or dream in language. I feel like I dream and think in concepts. So I can definitely notice the difference that after I'm in Germany for a while and I come back to the US, my instinct is to speak German first. So like basically I open my mouth and I will accidentally have the German sentence or the German word come to mind first before the English one, and I have to remember, oh wait, no, English, and then it's this whole process in my brain. So that happens after I come back from Germany, and then usually after getting back here, I don't have that anymore. So my brain just automatically spits out English. So I think that answers your question, kind of. So yeah. That's how it is, yeah. And then the same way, if I talk to German friends when I'm here, or my family, I have days where I just really can't speak German and everything just comes up in English, like the words, the sentence structure, and I really struggle speaking normal German, and I always hate that when that happens. I'm always like, oh my god, I can't believe I can't speak my native tongue right now, like properly, and I have to look for words, or I have to throw in the English word all the time, so.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Poor you.
Yeah.
Knowing a second language, darn it.
Okay, Jay asks, did he know you had a YouTube channel before you met? How did y'all meet? I feel like the second part of this question is like the most asked question that we've gotten from you guys. So, how did we meet?
Hinge. Yes, online.
So Hinge is a dating app.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know it, I don't think this exists in Germany, for example. Obviously, Tinder exists pretty much everywhere, I think. I think Bumble exists in both countries. Here, there's also OkCupid. I think that also exists in Germany. I know in Germany, we also have Lavu, which I don't think is a thing here.
And there's also like Match, which is like less on the side of like Tinder or something like that.
It's more like the old-fashioned.
Like old people look, well, not older, but like it's just like an older internet dating site.
Yeah, it's more like the old generation of internet dating, where you have like a website and a profile, like.
Yeah, where on one end I feel like Match is like the one that people are only looking for relationships, and then you have Tinder, which is like the exact opposite of that. And I feel like Hinge, which they call it the app that is made to be deleted.
Yeah.
So
Hinge, I mean, honestly, like, I'm glad that Hinge exists in the US. I've told a lot of my friends in Germany, like, I wish that existed in Germany because, yeah, as you said, their slogan is the app that's designed to be deleted, meaning they're actually trying to match you up with the perfect partner for you. For those of you who've like never been on a dating app, which I know there's a lot of people who haven't ever been on a dating app, Tinder is really just like you have a short little bio and pictures. That's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot of other information that you can see about the person unless they choose to share it. On Bumble, for example, you already have like more information about like what's your college degree, what's your religion, what's your political beliefs, maybe even, do you plan on having a family, what are you looking for on the app, things like that. And then Hinge, I feel like, has all of that, but has like a better algorithm apparently, because when I was on dating apps, I hated dating apps.
Yeah, same.
So did you.
Same. 100% same.
And Hinge was the only one where like even the people that were suggested to me were like somewhat interesting to me. The algorithm wasn't really working that great for me on the other dating apps.
Yeah, well, but the thing about Hinge is that there is an option to pay. It's like $10 a month.
Did you have the pay? Oh yeah, I had the paid version too.
Yeah, I had the paid version, which it was the only one that I ever like legitimately felt like I kind of got my money's worth out of it, because it wasn't just like, oh, here's one person, swipe right, swipe left. It felt like there was some kind of like personality match there that was missing with the other ones.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit lucky that I saw that you swiped right on me first. She swiped right on me first. And I was like, she seems interesting. And like I got to like kind of find all these bullet points and see whether or not I'd be interested, and lo and behold I was. And it ended up working out pretty well. Yeah,
I mean, just want to get back to what you said about paying, because I think on Tinder Plus you can do like swipe back and stuff like that when you pay for it. On Hinge, basically what it is that you get an overview of like the people that have already swiped right on you. So like on Tinder, it's just like a kind of a coincidence. Like if two people swipe right with each other, then they're a match. On Hinge, if like one person has already swiped the other person right, then the other person sees like a little list of all the people that have swiped them right. And if you don't pay, I think you only see a certain number. If you do pay, then you see the whole list of like everyone that's interested in you, and then you can just kind of go based off that. And so yeah, I had swiped on you first. So I remember I was on Hinge and I was like not into dating apps at all, but I'm also totally a relationship person, so I was kind of like, okay, I kind of have to do this. Like, this is a chore for me. Like, I have to swipe, because you never know. Like, I was kind of trying to tell myself, be rational about this. If you don't talk to anyone. If you don't meet anyone, you have a 0% chance of meeting the right person. So like, you have to go through this. I did never enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was always like, gosh, this is so much work. And
Well,
like,
also, you kind of feel bad doing it.
yeah, and also with every person, I was always like, how do I know? Like, maybe I'm swiping left on this person. They would have been great. Like, it's these decisions are so
well,
hard.
I'm happy you did it.
Yeah, but it's always like, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, I remember the first message that I sent you, and I knew very little German, like Guten Tag, Guten Nacht, like very little. It was a simple hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that's what started it all. And after that, it was like really good conversation.
Yeah, so you messaged me hello, and then we just like didn't stop talking really. For those of you who are on dating apps, you're like, yeah, you talk with people here and there. Like, it's just a way of figuring out if you maybe have anything in common. And like, usually those conversations just like fade out, or they feel like work, or the one person ends up like just not responding anymore. For me, at least, like I haven't had like a lot of great experiences on those dating apps. But with you and I, it was just like, you said hello. I was like asking you a few questions about yourself basically. And then we just like never stopped talking.
Yeah.
It was just like a natural flow since then. Then we met up for like a first date a couple days later.
Yes.
At Condado, which is like a Mexican chain.
Sort of like
restaurant.
Tex-Mex.
Yeah, Tex-Mex. It's not authentic Mexican. They have one location here downtown at the Banks in Cincinnati. I had been single for a while at that point.
Same.
And I was just always like trying to meet the people as soon as possible, because you can talk to someone online, but you really don't know if there's chemistry there. Or like, for me, for example, I would think a guy is interesting online and then meet up with him, and like, I really couldn't stand the way he talked or his voice, or I don't know, something like little. So then we went on that first date, and things kind of developed pretty quickly from there.
That's the first date at Condado is where I found out that she had a YouTube channel, and I kind of brushed it off. I didn't know anything about Feli from Germany before.
I didn't have that on my profile.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. But I did, like, professionally, like, there was a profession category on Hinge. Like, what did I have there? Did I just have like self-employed or like video creator or something?
I think self-employed.
Okay.
But you know, you mentioned it in passing at Condado.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And
I don't remember.
I didn't think much of it, and then I go home, get on YouTube, type in Feli from Germany.
Well, actually,
it was
old
another
channel name.
Yeah. I type it in, and then I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of subscribers. That's a big channel. And I didn't realize that that's what she was necessarily saying. And it caught me by surprise. It kind of caught me off guard, I'm not gonna lie, because I wasn't really expecting that. I didn't really think about the things that I'd have to put into consideration, like if I wanted to go further in the relationship, because there's definitely some things that you have to consider dating a YouTuber that you otherwise don't have to. Keeping professional and private life separate. And also, it's kind of weird for me whenever we're out in public and someone recognizes. Well, it's not weird anymore.
It doesn't happen a whole lot.
No, but at the beginning, like the first couple times it happened, I was like, I gotta get used to this, like now, because that's just not something I was used to.
Yeah. Another thing on that YouTube topic, though, that I want to share, I don't know if you want to say something about that, but I know that it almost threw you a little bit off that I had a YouTube channel with kind of a lot of followers, because you do have a friend who's pretty famous that you grew up with, and it all, like, you have kind of like, I guess, negative experiences with the fame that came with it, or like,
yeah, some part of it, but at the same time, I mean, the level of fame that the person I grew up with, that's a whole another level of fame, and I think that was really my only experience with something like that. And like, once I found out your channel was as big as it was, I kind of threw your fame, if you want to call it that, into the same level as.
Which, of course, it's not at all.
It's not at all. And that's
like, I'm a private person. I can go to the grocery store, whatever. Like, I maybe get recognized, like, once every 3 months.
Yeah, but that's the difference, though, is that, like, the level of fame that person is at, they can't even do anything. They can't do those things. Yeah. So
now everyone is going to want to know who it is. We're not going to tell you.
No. But no, it didn't scare me. I don't want to make it sound like that. No.
I think what it was mainly was that because I wanted you to obviously watch some of my videos, because like at that point I'd already made a lot of videos, and a lot of the topics that I want someone that I'm dating to know about my culture, about my views, is in my videos. And like everyone that's in my life, everyone that's close to me in my life has seen all my videos, and my family, for example, usually watch and listen to all the podcasts too. So like they just know all these things. So I kind of like told you like in a way to like maybe start watching my videos, because that way like we don't have to start at zero with a lot of stuff. And I think you were like, I don't want to get to know you through the videos.
That's exactly what I said.
Because I know how that's not going to be you, because I know that from my other friend.
Yeah, but
do you know what I'm saying?
That's partly because I didn't know the relationship your channel has with its audience, because like my first impression was that it was not so personal. But honestly, I can say this because not only am I here for you and the channel, I work on the channel too. You guys know Feli to like a very good extent. Like the person she is in front of camera is the person that she is. And whenever she told me that I need to watch these videos, I kind of had some pushback because of that. And then I realized, oh, well, the Feli that I see in her videos is the actual Feli.
Yeah. But also I just wanted you to like know a lot of these just views and experiences, because it's so much information that like it would have taken me like so many dates to basically catch you up on all of that.
Yeah, and it's all stuff worthwhile knowing, and I'm really happy now in hindsight that I can go look at those videos and not only figure out who you are in some aspects, but also see the person you were.
That's true, because now I've had it for like 4 years, and I've changed a lot since then. So you can kind of see the Feli from 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Where in the U.S. is Ben from? We're going to try and speed this up a little bit, but that was the big question, so I think it's okay that we took some time. Where in the U.S. is Ben from? I think we answered that last time.
I am from the great state of Kentucky, the bluegrass state. Well, I'm from northern Kentucky, directly in between Cincinnati and Lexington, Kentucky, from a very small town there. I'm a country kid that's come to the city and somehow found a European.
I mean, I feel like you are very European in a lot of your traits or ways. You're like a mix of like hillbilly Kentucky guy and cultured European guy that like in some ways you're more European than I have ever been.
Yeah, I mean, your parents kind of were like, you act somewhat European whenever I first met them, but no, I will wear that with pride. Hillbilly over here and like pseudo-European right here.
It's a nice mix.
Yes.
Okay, this is a serious question. Are you like ready for us to answer a serious couple future question?
Let me buckle up.
Okay.
Drum roll.
I know you've said previously that you don't necessarily see yourself staying in the United States forever. If things were to get serious, would you consider settling in the United States? Conversely, would Ben consider settling in Germany?
Do you want me to go first, or do you? Well, you're already here, so like you've spent some time here.
It's not like I'm gonna be surprised by your answer, because we've discussed this like plenty of times.
I mean, I 100% want to live in Germany one day. I want to live in other countries too. I come from middle America, like I said earlier, a very small town, and I always watched the likes of Anthony Bourdain and Rick Steves and all these travel shows, and I got a degree in journalism, so I love storytelling and old literature of traveling and stuff like that, and I always wanted to experience other cultures, and now, not only am I old enough to be able to make those decisions to go do that, I have a really good reason to, and not just visit, but even live there. And that's not just, it's not a sacrifice. I'm lucky for that, in all honesty.
So basically, we do have a plan of living in Germany at some point. I mean, we don't have a set plan yet, like we're gonna move to Germany next month or something like that, but we do want to do it in the next few years, and honestly, he almost wants to do it more than I do. Like, I do also want to go back and like spend time with my family and things like that, especially when I do have kids, but he wants to do it also before we have kids, which that also answers a whole other question. Like, we have the whole future planning going on. We do want a family together, blah, blah, blah. Spilling the tea. So he wants to also go before we have kids, because he wants to like, travel and see all these other countries in Europe and the world that he hasn't seen yet. We don't really know like if that would be just a few years in Germany, then coming back here, a few years there, a few years here, and like constantly switching back and forth, or Germany would be our permanent home and we'd only like come to the US every now and then. Like, that's just something that we'll have to figure out as we go, because you never know what other factors are going to play a role.
And I mean, also, I think me going someplace like that, my parents necessarily right away, they'd be kind of, my whole family, not just my parents, they'd be kind of a little bit weirded out by it.
Yeah, of course.
Admittedly, for good reasons. But also, I want my parents to experience traveling and seeing the world, and that, like, the same reason I have a reason to travel and see things because of you, they'll have a reason to come visit me in wherever I am, across the pond, in Asia, Africa, I don't know.
I don't know about moving to Asia, but
Tokyo sounds
I mean, it's definitely, that's the perks and also downsides of being in a intercultural, international relationship. It's awesome because you get all these different perspectives and you have family in different countries. Like, he gets to experience the real German culture and I get to experience the real American, especially like Kentucky culture through him. But at the same time, you're always going to have two homes and you're always going to have to choose. So like when we have kids, I do want my kids to learn my language, obviously, like have that also as one of their mother tongues, and I want them to grow up with my family around and know my culture, but I also want that for them with your culture and language and family. So like they might have to switch schools every now and then and like maybe go to elementary school in the one country and then do middle school in the other one or something like that.
It's going to be a balancing act, but at the same time, it's something to be fair and equal in the relationship. And I think that if we didn't move to Germany, or we were in Germany right now and we didn't move to the US, we would kind of be doing the other person somewhat of I wouldn't say a disservice, but I want to see your home.
Yeah.
And I know if we were in Germany right now, you'd want to see my home and experience
of course,
it that way.
100%.
So,
I think there are some couples where like one of them just like doesn't have that many ties to their home anymore and they don't even want that. But for us, I mean, we're lucky enough that we both have a big family in our home that we're close with. So yeah, that's going to be something to figure out in the future, how exactly that's going to happen. But yes to Ben moving to Germany, no to me like only settling in the US, but I'm not opposed to like maybe spending most of our time in the US and only a few years in Germany or something like that. So with that, thank you guys so much for submitting all these questions. There were many, many more that we didn't get to, partly because we just tend to answer everything pretty thoroughly. But we hope you guys enjoyed this. We can just do a part 2 or part 3 for this in the future. Some of these questions can probably also be answered in other like videos with other topics. But yeah, let us know if you have any follow-up questions, any comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, support me, this channel, us, by hitting the subscribe button, the thumbs up button, leave a comment below for the algorithm. And if you want to, you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Feli from Germany. Join the Patreon family, get some extra perks, or you can also leave a tip through the super thanks button underneath the video or buymeacoffee.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Tschüss!
Tschüss!